we shared a Delta 9 THC bowl. We packed our most potent Delta 9 THC strain. If you're familiar with our previous content, Victoria, that strain is so potent that when we smoked every day, we thought it was fucking laced.
We literally
literally thought we were smoking crack.
That strain is stupid potent.
Yeah.
Literally one hit can bring you to anxious levels.
Yeah, it can give you anxiety.
As Matt said, as a daily smoker in the past, when we were smoking the strain, I would smoke it and I would literally be like, yo, this is fucking laced. Like, I swear I should not feel this way off cannabis. Like, but either way, so we went from sober 6 months into this ridiculously intense killer strain. Matt and I both took one hit.
Yeah, we packed a half bowl and we took one hit.
We chose to experience drugs again, break our sobriety streak on 6 month break, because we figured, 6 months, that's a long time. You've probably fully reset your body, like tolerance out the window, like it's entirely reset. And we figured, like, would 6 months break be much different than another 6 months, like a total of a year break? Yeah, probably, but I think minutely different.
Probably a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like, I think we already had like the full reset, the full recovery, like the full clean slate to work with, essentially. And with that clean slate, we smoked some THC last night, and we wanted to see like how the effects just ruined us. Dude, it was amazing.
The effects were intense, guys.
Very intense. For the 6 months of us being sober, we happily did do that. I was blissful. I didn't need drugs. I didn't need coffee or cannabis.
I could have continued the streak.
Exactly. Very easily could have continued the streak. It was literally a scientific and educational choice just to reintroduce our systems to the drugs and see how it felt. Just to feel the contrast, to see what we haven't been doing. And it was very, very enlightening. One other thing I want to mention about the session of our life where we were sober for those 6 months is that those 6 months, I was very, very consistent. I was grounded. I was emotionally, like, as I said, consistent, stable. If I felt a certain way, I knew I was feeling that way because of my life situations or my mentality. I can't be like, oh, I'm feeling shitty because of drugs. No, I haven't had drugs in 6 months. Like, if you're feeling some certain way, it's because, like, that's the power of sobriety. You know you're feeling a certain way because of what you're doing or the situation you're in. There's no external factors to confuse you, make you lost, whatever, you know what I mean?
Actually, I want to touch upon the reasons why we went on that 6 month sobriety streak, why we made that choice. Is for starters, I wanted to make a change because I wasn't satisfied with like how my life was going and like the choices I was making. So I wanted to make a change to have more consistent mental health, more consistent just mindset, because that's what being sober would give you. See my productivity while being sober, because when you do a drug, it can make you lazy. It can make you in a mode where you don't really, you might not want to do certain things.
Yeah, also
it can distract you.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I wanted to have that focus, that consistency and all that for like my goals, and see how it affected me.
So I mentioned like one little comment because you're talking about how doing drugs is a distraction. Yes, it is. When you're sober, let's say you want to just go paint a painting or play a game and work on your skills, whatever. You just go do that. But if you're a drug user, you might be like, okay, I did my 1 hour of painting. I did my 1 hour of gaming practice. I did my 1 hour of writing music practice. Now let me go smoke. So now when you choose to go do that other dopamine activity of smoking instead of working on your skill, you're technically distracting yourself from what you can be. So that's another thing why we wanted to try not doing any drugs, because drugs are easy dopamine, and you gotta like make yourself work hard for better rewards. Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, bro. For me in my life, doing a drug or choosing to do a drug in the day can be metaphorically pulling the curtains on that day.
Yeah.
I played Overwatch for like an hour or two.
Throwing the towel in.
And then I smoke and I'm just relaxing. I'm bullying. I just want to like, do nothing at that point. Probably just watch stuff.
Yeah, I feel that.
And watching is fine, relaxing is fine, but you got to have a balance in that. Creative people will say it's important to do more and watch less to like balance that.
There's definitely a certain ratio. Obviously, everyone has their own time to relax. You need downtime to relax.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so I think we discussed enough of why we went 6 months sober, and now we can talk about the breaking of the tea break and how honestly just simply amazing that was, and how
it was transcendent.
How amazing the entire process of that entire journey was. It was entirely worth going on the break for 6 months, and it was entirely worth also intentionally choosing to break it. Yeah, I think we can transition into that now.
We drank coffee and smoked Delta 9 THC yesterday. We did 2 substances.
So our 6 month break ended yesterday. Earlier in the day, we had some coffee, which once again, in our break, we had no drugs at all, no caffeine, nothing, just unaltered mental state. So yesterday we started off breaking our tea break by having some coffee. That was great. It was very uplifting.
It was nice.
We had some Starbucks coffee. It was very uplifting. Didn't get too much anxiety from it. I got mostly good effects and very little bad effects. So I was pleased by that outcome actually. And in short, guys, we felt transcendent and
Yes.
simply fucking amazing last night. Going from sober to high on THC. That was absolutely amazing.
Let's describe it in detail. So Chris and I, we had some coffee, and then after like an hour or so after the coffee, we shared a Delta 9 THC bowl. We packed our most potent Delta 9 THC strain. If you're familiar with our previous content, Victoria, that strain is so potent that when we smoked every day, we thought it was fucking lace.
We literally
thought we were smoking crack.
That strain is stupid potent.
Yeah.
Literally, one hit can bring you to anxious levels.
Yeah, it can give you anxiety.
As Matt said, as a daily smoker in the past, when we were smoking this strain, I would smoke it and I would literally be like, yo, this is fucking laced. Like, I swear I should not feel this way off cannabis. Like, but either way, so we went from sober 6 months into this ridiculously intense killer strain. Matt and I both took one hit.
Yeah, we packed a half bowl and we took one hit. I took a fairly, I took like a 2-3 second hit, and I held it for around 2 seconds as well. I held it for as long as I felt comfortable because I know the strain's intense and potent. And I knew if I held it for too long, I might get too intense of effects. I might actually get anxious or like have a panic attack. So I held it for like 2 seconds. I felt good. I exhaled it. I was fucking coughing. I was like, I was beat up, bro. I was getting mugged by the Delta 9.
Yeah.
And it was intense. It was very nostalgic. When you go a long time without smoking weed, just the experience, the smell, the taste, it honestly reminded me of Christmas, as weird as that sounds.
Like, yo, what's good, Zeki? Hope you're doing well, bro.
Zeki, good
Glad
to
you
see
stopped by.
bro.
Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for being here,
We're
fam.
back, fam. It's good to be back. And yeah, it was very nostalgic. It reminded me of Christmas and smoking with family members and stuff, and it was fun.
Yeah.
It was so intense.
Yeah, for me, even last night, just like getting the bong, which was collecting dust for a whole 6 months.
Yeah.
Just getting the bong, packing the tiniest like half bowl, like little pieces of Victoria into the bowl. That was just nostalgic. The whole ritual of it. Yeah, dude. Like for you, as you mentioned, like taking that one hit. It was like a 2 second hit. Honestly, really good size considering tea break and all. Just absolutely,
it was a
champion like
perfect size hit.
So yeah, like on the exhale, I was fucking like out of breath, fucking coughing. Like I was crying for sure.
Yeah,
I remember crying. Very, very intense. And then just the absolute uplift and just rocket ship that I was on afterwards.
Yeah,
bro. I remember we took our first hit at like what? I think 8:32, right?
That was like 5 minutes after smoking.
8:32 p.m.
It was like something 32.
Either way. We didn't take, I think, a second one hit until 3 hours later.
It was like 2.5 hours later.
We were good off that one hit and like stupid clapped for like 3 hours. And the effects were absolutely amazingly uplifting and antidepressing. Like so freaking antidepressant.
Yeah, for real.
I was excited about every like little thought. I was excited about where I'm currently at in life. I was so content with where I'm at in life. In short, it literally felt like my shroom trip that I had 5 years ago. Like I've only tripped on shrooms once in my life, and our experience with THC last night after our 6 month tea break, I felt like I was tripping on shrooms. I felt unbelievably uplifted, unbelievably antidepressed. What are your thoughts? We were feeling transcendent. We felt like it encouraged a lot of paradigm shifts. It encouraged us to write down like a lot of good ideas we were getting. We were getting a lot of good creative ideas.
Yeah, realizations, insights.
Dude, THC, like literally us getting high on THC last night sparked an absolute inferno of creativity and just like productive ideas. It was really, really beneficial.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, extremely beneficial for us.
It had a lot of benefits. Like Chris was saying, we felt transcendent. Our perspectives were very different. Like reality felt so different compared to being sober, obviously. And yeah, just a lot of realizations, insights, enlightenments. Just that was the byproduct of the different perspective. And like I said, we were excited about like thoughts, like just getting, I guess, transcendent.
It made us jot down a lot of good ideas and
breakthroughs.
It spurred lots of creativity and just discussion. It was really cool. It was a very excited state, a very uplifted, very antidepressed. I would describe it as those three words: excited, antidepressed, and uplifted. I had a little bit of anxiety, but no shit, I smoked like my most potent THC strain that we've ever owned, and I was 6 months sober. I mean, yeah. So that tea break fucking was intense. Yeah.
After hitting it, the intensity, like the effects and the intensity, escalated a good like 10 to 15 minutes after we're done smoking. After we took the hit. So like initially took the hit, I inhaled, exhaled, I was cooked, I was coughing, I was instantly lit, right? But it escalated 10 minutes, 15 minutes afterwards, got really intense. Like we both agree, it felt like shrooms. I felt like what could be more intense, what could be more potent, you know what I mean? Like that's the level of intensity of like
Yes.
and satisfaction I have with the effects.
And I want to make comments on the intensity we felt from that tea break hit, right? So we broke our tolerance with that hit. Is taking that tolerance break and getting those really intense break effects are amazing. I think it's kind of worth it. I think having that like shroomy cannabis effect, that really trippy cannabis effect that we had last night, is worth the 1 month break, the 2 week break. Like if you smoke once every 2 weeks, you might get that intense of an effect that we got last night. That's actually something we were discussing last night. What tolerance, like what is the frequency you need to do to get this effect consistently, to feel this like intense? Like obviously if you're smoking every day, you're not going to be feeling that every time.
No, we were discussing it last night.
When you smoke every day, you're more used to it. You don't get stupid slapped every fucking time. You might have to smoke 2 bowls to feel even like on par. I remember when it was like when my usage was really high, I had to smoke like 3 bowls to even feel like, oh, I'm baked now. Like 1 bowl would have me buzzed, not high. You know what I mean? Like So I feel like what's the frequency? What's the sweet spot? 1 week, once every week, once every 2 weeks, once a month. Obviously to each their own. Like if you want to smoke every day, cheers to that. I'm not saying one's ideal, one's like, but I really valued the intensity and honestly like the spirituality of that effect I had last night. Like it felt super intense.
It was shamanic.
It felt significant. It felt shamanic. It felt like I was doing shrooms. It felt like just like a big turning point in my personal growth. It felt massive for my personal growth.
It was a massive breakthrough.
Because there was lots of enlightening thoughts, lots of creative thoughts that we jotted down.
I'm going to read out some notes we took while high last night. We wrote it in Discord. Just about the Delta 9 experience we had. So I'll read out. I said, reality is very different. No shit, you're high. But to describe that better, reality is very different. I'll also put it in a very familiar way. Also in a familiar THC way. Because if you smoked THC before and you go sober and you smoke it again, you'd be like, whoa, I'm different, but this is familiar, you know? Like, oh, this is classic THC.
Yeah, that perspective change is really useful. Like, you can look at your life in a different way. Like, when you're in that sober, that one track, like, point of view, introducing a drug to switch up that perspective is extremely valuable.
It's valuable.
Like, it just gives you different perspectives. It makes you honestly maybe appreciate aspects of your life more than you may overlook in the past. Like, maybe you'll be like, oh, wow. I'm actually, when you get high, like you get like that perspective change, right? You can look at yourself and be like, wow, I'm better at this ability than I thought I was. Or I don't give myself as much credit for what I do than what I think I should.
Perspective change is just
a useful
immensely powerful. Yeah. It's very easy to underestimate. I think it's very easy, like in thought, to be like, oh, maybe that's, well, obviously it's helpful, but like maybe it's pretty helpful. No, it's incredibly helpful. It's
last night when Matt and I were high on the THC for the first time in 6 months, we're like, okay, I extremely value this effect, this mentality, like being high. I really value this feeling, but we also equally value sobriety. Yeah, both are important. We realize that they're actually like you need to embrace both for ideal like productivity, for ideal just like in my life. That's how I see it. I want to embrace days where I'm entirely sober, and then like maybe that once a week or that whatever frequency works for you. That perspective change, that's also very valuable. Like. Both effects, like
on that topic,
moderation's overpowered.
Exactly. On that topic, I'm just going to state that after this sobriety streak break, after last night, I'm still going to practice moderation. I love sobriety. I embrace it because it's very productive for me. I need it. And I'll be practicing moderation. Do I know what level of moderation? You know, like once a week, once a month, once every 2 months. I don't know.
Yeah, that's to be figured out.
I'm going to feel that out. I think it's an intuitive thing.
We haven't planned anything certain yet, but what I mentioned last night, and it was a pretty decent idea, is we're like, okay, so we really value this effect, right? So when are we gonna get high again? When are we gonna do drugs again? And my thought was, okay, well, if we really liked this 6 month break feeling, let's just start off by being like, okay, what's the sweet spot? Next time we break it, let's try in a week from now. Maybe a 1 week break of no smoking. Is it as powerful as that 6 month break? If that 1 week break is not as powerful as the 6 month break,
Yeah, 1 month.
try 2 weeks.
I think
Try
1 month.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like take it step by step though. I
I
want to find that sweet spot. So it's like as frequent as possible, but also as significant of effects as possible. Well, the perfect balance of both. You want significant effects, but also you want the frequency too. You don't want it being so frequent that you're not getting the medicinal effects you're even looking for in the first place. So you're just kind of like getting like that dopamine rush, not really getting that like world-rending effects. I'll call it like that, like just like paradigm shifts effects, like enlightening
I'll
effects.
restate it is that the sobriety streak and smoking last night changed my perspective of moderation. It changed my perspective of moderation because moderation is whatever you make it to be. Someone can deem smoking 1 bowl a day as moderation, and someone can deem smoking once a month as moderation. You know, like that is the potential. Once a year as moderation. It's entirely
That's
up
excessive.
to you.
You know, that's extreme.
No, but you can put whatever opinion you want. It just is an opinion.
Yes, it is 100%. There's levels to this. There's a gradient. There's no black or white. It's just like it's a spectrum. Yeah, it's a.
Yep. Another bullet we had is I appreciate things/situations more, and react to things differently. And I put in parentheses I react with more love. So like I noticed that I just reacted to like the things around me differently, and with more of like an appreciation, I suppose, with more love and appreciation. Like I got hit up by someone when I was high. Someone texted me, and I got excited to see them hit me up, and I was like, oh yo, I love them. And I actually responded to their text with more love and appreciation. And I always would like be respectful and like we're friends. But like I was even I upped the ante. I was like, yo, much love and like so like that, you know what I mean like. Yeah, just amplified that.
Yeah, this topic addresses basically like that perspective change. That I'm gonna use the word ego death, where you look at things you possibly take for granted in a different way. You have more appreciation. It's honestly, in short, it kind of has boosted gratitude like a lot, which is good.
Big facts. And it ties into actually what I just said. Another bullet point we recorded was we were prone to paradigm shifts, and paradigm shifts means changes,
like radical changes, like out of your routine daytime, and it's like an entire just different lane. You're like, if you're always going down this one path, a paradigm shift would be going this entirely different new direction.
Yeah, if you don't know, paradigm means pattern, so this means going out of your pattern, changing your pattern. Paradigm shift,
breaking the habits.
Reacting differently or changing the way you react is obviously a paradigm shift because it's a change. So that another example I guess would be like
literally an example of a paradigm shift is our paradigm was being sober. We had a 6 month sobriety paradigm, and we had a paradigm shift last night by choosing to smoke THC. That was a paradigm shift, which led to much more different paradigm shifts.
Encourage paradigm shifts.
Literally, paradigm shift is a synonym. It's the exact same thing as radical action, a radical change.
It's a
drastic change out of your routine. That's what a paradigm shift is.
Yep, and then the last bullet is breaking 6 month tea break with 1 hit of Victoria is shrooms. Tripping hard. In parentheses.
We were feeling in short, we were feeling fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I loved it. It was great.
Yeah. And I don't know when I'll smoke again.
Like I said, my best idea was possibly in a week. Like try
maybe.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, like I'm down for whatever we decide.
Yeah, we'll
but my mind was like, start like going from the most frequent to least frequent to see what matches the intensity of what we just experienced.
1 week sounds good, bro, and we'll fill it out, and that is like
to me, my best guess would be like, okay, to get those amazing tea break effects, right? I feel like my bet would be on 1 month or 3 weeks would be the perfect sweet spot of frequency and intensity. I guess 3 weeks would be like, okay, yo, that's insane effects. That sounds like a good gap. Sounds good to me.
I mean, is there anything else to say about the Delta 9 experience? It was great. I'm very thankful that we made that choice to go on that sobriety streak to enable that transcendent
I'll make some comments on
session last night.
I'll make some comments on it. Is that well, it was such an amazing experience, right? Well, that's where discipline and moderation comes into play. Like that's a tempting experience. I would happily do it again, but like I have to resist that desire to do it again because it's really, really important for me to keep it at its distance and it has its time and place, right?
Remain disciplined.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, believe me, I went I would love to pour myself some coffee right now and drink some coffee and stream.
But you have to
But
remain
I'm keeping that
disciplined.
discipline.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I don't want to go back to that.
Daily use.
Yeah, because I know I value sobriety, and also like, I think that it's powerful to have the moderation. It's more beneficial.
Another pretty unique thing I recall about being high on THC last night, for the first time in a while, was that we had pretty good short-term memory. I didn't figure what I was going to talk about. Like, I actually kept my train of thought pretty damn well, and
Yeah,
which is good because it kept all these amazing creative ideas we were coming up with.
true.
Like we were
didn't derail.
keeping them recorded. We were keeping them, elaborating on them, taking use of the great ideas instead of just having a great idea and then it just goes and nowhere to be seen ever
Yeah,
again.
and it's like
There's no use. A forgotten good idea is useless.
exactly.
A elaborated on, written down good idea is
You can act upon it.
progress. Yeah.
Yeah, you can remember it, act upon it. I'm pretty good on talking about the Delta 9 for now. I think that
Yeah,
that
that
includes
definitely sums up the entire experience.
It was
really,
awesome, and I'm
really
thankful for it.
pleased with the 6-month break.
Mhm.
Really pleased with choosing to break it yesterday with the Victoria THC. That was amazing.
Yep, trust the process. A mantra or a thought that I had that hit my head when I was high is don't doubt your present moment. I felt that way because I went through my 6 months of being sober and I chose and believe me, when you're sober for 6 months, we had the bong packed. It was hard to be like, okay, I'm gonna hit this. It was hard to be like and make that change and hit that because like I'm proud about being sober.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, it was.
I mean,
worth
yeah,
it.
it would be such a fucking flex if we're like, yeah, I was sober for 12 months. What's up?
Yeah,
But
no,
like
exactly.
we happily chose to experiment on intentionally taking the medicine after 6 months break.